huge like kaiju monster with the fire breath. That's sick, dude. Like, what the heck?
He's like in his basement with a stack of tapes, a really good ripper, and like a dream.
Koba Nation. It was Koba. Yeah.
You have to embrace what's special about you. Morgan Freeman. Like it.
Do you wanna watch? We decided Koba was right.
Which was just, I mean, fantastic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast where we talk about what we truly, truly freaking want. Guys, tonight...
How about that intro, guys?
New intro.
That was
Did
pretty
you
good.
like it?
Yeah.
I liked it.
Clips from
Thanks, guys.
previous episodes. Guys, we're
Great
back.
escape.
We're back with the boys. We're talking about what we truly, truly want. I'm your host, Cassian Camdor. And we got some boys with us today, some beautiful men. 6 people on this podcast, our biggest podcast yet. Let's freaking go. I've got Dave Devil, the VHS vigilante without fear. Dave, how you doing, man?
I'm so good. I'm so ready.
You ready to talk about all these details?
Absolutely. We got a lot to cover tonight.
We got Jake Castle, the cinematic Punisher. He's here to give us the business.
And the business is just a slight tip off of a roof.
Slight push. And somebody's back tonight. A beautiful man by the name of Jonathan Victor Job, the Italian kingpin of sausage crime. Jonathan J., how you doing?
Doing great. I'm so happy to be here, ready to talk about whatever you have.
John, you're the best.
Yes.
And guys, we got
John,
some... Yes, let's go. We got some young men with us tonight. We've got Tuck Grayson, my protege, my young ward. He's here tonight. Tuck, how you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, of course. And tonight we have another guest, Bat Sam, the cinematic student himself. He's in school to be a cinematic man. So Sam, how you doing? Sam's going to give us a little story today, Sam, right? Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my professor for my cinematography class, one of his jobs that he does for like a hobby is he mixes trailers. Usually he does it for Sony or Universal, but he said his friend actually mixed the original Suicide Squad movie's trailer, like the David Ayer one, the one that had Bohemian Rhapsody. So like the trailer, the one that
the serious one?
Yeah, the serious one. And what's crazy is he told us in class that because he got to mix the trailer, they send him the movie. So he got to actually see David Ayer's original cut of Suicide Squad.
Oh, dude.
And he told my professor that it's like a million times better. He said for one thing, it would have been they would have had to have made it rated R. Like they would not have been able to have gotten away with PG-13.
Yeah.
He also said that they like Jared Leto was in it for a lot longer than just 5-10 minutes or whatever screen time he had. I think he said it was like 30 to 45 minutes of the movie he was
Isn't he like the main villain, right?
Yeah, he's like the main villain. And he said that though he still kind of has that like gangster mob boss kind of feel, he was a lot more likable apparently. So it's just funny to me that after hearing that, I was like,
hashtag release the Ayer cut.
Yeah.
Please release it. Release.
It's a good thing.
I had a feeling it was going to be better.
Yeah.
Why has that stopped? Like, release the Ayer cut is not a thing anymore.
I think DC just, or more so Warner Brothers, just hates David Ayers. It seems like so.
Yeah, he's a kind of aggressive.
Or they don't want more crap on. Like they don't want to be like, oh, release this one. And
They don't want bad. It is bad publicity.
And it'd be like, oh, that's
The Snyder cut was so embarrassing for them.
The only reason they even did the Snyder cut, I think, was because they needed stuff for when they launched HBO Max, as it was then. They were desperate for content, and they were trying to bring in different types of people. And they were like, how do we get comic book fans to come into HBO Max? Snyder cut, let's do it, I don't think they're in a spot to do it today. That's awesome, though. Your professor's friend deserves props for that. That's an iconic trailer. It's better than the final product.
Can he write a breakdown for us?
Yeah,
that would be nice.
Yeah, really.
I don't even know if he's allowed to talk about it, to be honest. Like,
he probably signed something.
Yeah,
yeah.
All right, guys. So let's get into our main topics tonight. Let's break down what we're going to be talking about. There's a lot tonight, so we have to move quick. There's so much stuff to talk about. We're talking about Andor, the trailer, and even the special look that we got. We're talking about the first 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again. It's very exciting stuff going on with that. And then we're going to talk about the DCU in general. James Gunn did a bunch of interviews, I think like a week or 2 ago, and he kind of broke down everything. So we're going to talk about it all. We're gonna say our opinions. I know John's not going to shy away from being honest, right, John?
No. I'll be
John
honest.
will be very honest tonight. But let's get into it, guys.
I'm gonna lie.
Andor, season 2, the trailer. We got a little picture here. This was so exciting. I don't know how you guys feel about Andor, the first season. Any of you guys have any thoughts on the first season? Jake, how'd you feel about the first season?
I've only got incredible things to say. I can't say it's the best piece of Star Wars ever because it doesn't exist without the originals. And heck, it doesn't exist without the prequels either because it builds on that so much. Of what they've been doing, their efforts since the Disney acquisition. I mean, it's in a league of its own. I mean, there's a reason that after the show came out, I mean, real awards and critics were really lauding the show, saying this is really fantastic for them, despite the fact that it takes place in the Star Wars universe. And for those of us that are fans and tend to watch everything, I mean, it was a beautiful surprise. And it seems like they had a 2-season plan to begin with.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see what they do with now. All the eyes are on them, but it's almost going to feel a bit like a victory lap, I think.
Yeah, Jake, what do you want to see? What do you want to see in season 2?
You know, the things that surprised me the most from season 1 were things I never even would have thought of. I wasn't expecting it to be a show that only had story arcs instead of being episodic versus one whole story told over a couple episodes. It's really 3 main stories. I mean, the story of his home world, of the heist on Aldhani, and then the prison break.
The heist, so good.
and the prison break on Morlana 5. So I think I just want good. I think they said it's going to be 4 story arcs. I'm just excited to find out what they are.
I'm kind of tempted to binge it before because I watched it once, 1 episode at a time, and I feel like it might even be better as a binge. You know
I think you should watch the story arcs. So watch the first 3 episodes, watch the watch the heist arc,
almost
watch
like a movie.
The next 4 episodes that would get you the prison arc, and then the final 2. I'd do it on 4 different nights, and it'd be a treat. I've done it like that since.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
So, that's awesome. So let's get into like some of our favorite moments from the trailer. Some of the best moments. I thought it was crazy seeing Stormtroopers again. I don't know if that's just like refreshing for me, like just classic Stormtroopers in the wheat. They're just out in the fields. Anybody, Wade, favorite moments from the trailer? Anything that you can think of?
You told me beforehand. Apparently, it was a controversy, but I loved the music choice.
Really, you liked it?
I loved it. Yeah, I was like, hey, I love the early 2000s, and I mean, doing a punk rock song. I mean, about revolution. Stand up and fight against the big man. I mean, I'm all for it. I liked it.
That's interesting.
It's unique choice for Star Wars, but
it's all over the internet. It's kind of like the same thing with Gladiator 2. They did like a rap song with like ancient, it's like doesn't really make sense, but I like that you liked it. It's a good opinion. Anybody else, any favorite moments from the trailer, guys? Anything you can think of? John, the guns are back. The Star Wars guns. There's a lot of guns in this.
Yeah. Guns. Yeah. What am I looking? What was my favorite part? There's a lot. It looks like there's going to be a lot more
action heavy. I agree with that.
The second season, definitely. So I think it was all the action was my favorite. I think that was a complaint. I know a lot of people for the first season was a little.
It's a lot of exposition, a lot of talking. Yeah.
Yeah, which I didn't mind it because I mean it's so different. It was so different compared to like the rest of the Star Wars shows, and seeing that kind of like explain everything. It felt more grounded. It felt more, real. Yeah, I guess.
Do you think they're going to stick the landing like leading up into Rogue One, John? Do you think they're going to do it? I mean, we got that little tease in the last season,
I think so. I think they will. Yeah, I Tony Gilroy, he's great. The director.
Yeah, it is Tony Gilroy. Yeah.
He's, he's done a lot. I mean, it's funny thinking about him because I remember watching was Armageddon. He was a writer for that show, for that movie.
That's hilarious.
From I was like, what? I saw his name. I was like, Tony Gilroy? I was like, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to see how far he's gone. Like see his whole.
Yeah. You never know. You
work.
never know where you might see him.
Yeah.
I know we're getting like most of our characters back, but also K2SO. How do you guys feel about that? Played by Alan Tudyk. He's pretty awesome. Sam, how you feeling about this trailer? Any thoughts?
I watched the trailer and I can't remember if it was this or the little teaser
the special, yeah.
Yeah, but when they showed director Krennic, I think is his name.
Yeah, director Krennic. What the heck?
I really liked his character in Rogue One. I thought he was funny, being like super pompous all the time, and meanwhile everybody just thinks he's a goober and can't do anything right. But I'm excited to be back. I'm excited for K2SO. I'm excited to see how they, if they're gonna end it maybe like right before Rogue One starts, or if they're gonna have it lead into when we first meet Cassian Andor and K2SO into Rogue One. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what you forgot one of the best characters, Cyril Karn. He's returning.
Cyril Karn.
Probably, hopefully, eating more cereal.
Cyril Karn eating cereal.
Have you guys seen him in real life?
I can't wait.
Because his name is Kyle, and he's like he sounds like a Kyle. Like he's like, oh man,
he has a big beard too.
Like,
He's
people just blew up at my cereal. like he's just such a Kyle in real life. It's
That's awesome. Well, guys, we can all cheer tonight. Toast. Kathleen Kennedy is retiring. Tucker, how do you feel about that? Kathleen Kennedy is supposedly leaving at the end of 2025. Lucasfilm. Are you excited?
I think two of the worst decisions George Lucas ever made was selling it to Disney and making Kathleen Kennedy in charge of Star Wars.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. Just kind of like
ruin the franchise.
Yeah, they put too much like in world, like politics and.
I think the politics as well.
Right. Like,
not to say that she's a great producer. I mean, she's produced some of the craziest stuff, right? I mean, Indiana Jones, I think E.T., right? I mean, she's like Steven Spielberg said she's one of the best producers of all time, but I don't think she's a great president for this company. I don't know if that's my opinion.
And some of the stuff we got has been good from the Disney
for
Star
sure.
Wars.
I mean,
but I do think that the divisiveness that it did bring with some of the choices, that Star Wars fans didn't need, because up until that point everyone was I say that, but then people hated on the prequels for a long time too. So maybe it's always been around, but
you can't please the fans. I want to hear Jake's opinion on this.
Well, first of all, she's not retiring. She came out and said that like 3 days ago. That's not happening.
Well, no, she's stepping down though. She's finding a replacement though, she said. I read that too.
Okay, well,
we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, she did kind of.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
John, you don't believe it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Star Wars is in a better spot when there's Star Wars happening.
That's another problem.
Star Wars happening.
There's not been anything going on really.
We do need movies back. I feel like.
So I don't know. I have no beef with Kathleen Kennedy at all. Probably one of the greatest.
Oh yeah, I don't
have
to deny that.
She's a business figurehead more than she's a creative mind. Yeah. So I don't think it's really going to be much shakeup.
John, you don't believe it?
No, I'll believe it when I see it.
That's a good way to be, because
when she says, "Oh, I'm leaving," like I'm for sure, because this is the first time the rumors have been out, like, oh, she's leaving. Yeah. Then it turns out it doesn't happen. So,
well, we could move on from here, guys. We're going to our what we watching phase of the podcast, but this week we're not going to talk about what we've personally been talking about. We're going to be talking about Daredevil Born Again, the first 2 episodes. Did everybody watch it?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Let's get into this. Guys, how does it compare to Netflix's Daredevil? How you feeling? We're going to try to be a little quick, but, Wade, how we feeling about this?
I'm feeling good. First, obviously spoilers ahead, but,
heavy spoilers.
First 5 minutes, kind of insane choices.
Oh yeah.
but in a good way. I think it was a good shock value, even though, you know, Foggy's kind of a main character. It's just crazy. It's like, you know, you just bring back Bullseye and all these people and just, you know, throw us right back into it. So so far I'm all in, and I think it's been good.
I do like that they just throw you right into the story. It's as if season 3 just happened, and it's been like what, a year or so, or you know, like it's just in the universe. You know, anybody else? How we feeling about it? Just initial thoughts.
I loved it.
Yeah. Go for it.
I did like. There was like some moments where it was kind of like that CGI didn't look.
Yeah, I do agree with that. The CGI was a little weird.
Yeah.
I know what they're trying to do. Like, it's because that's this whole thing is he's like really like kind of like Spider-Man in a way. He jumps
huge
like,
distances.
He's all over the place.
Super fast.
Yeah. I mean, it was yeah. The first like 15 minutes of the fight scene, I'm like, eesh, like that was pretty bad. I mean, it wasn't as bad as like Ben Affleck 2003.
Yeah.
CGI, but it wasn't like the best. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. But let's get into the plot. So, like, right off the bat, our boy Foggy's dead. How did you feel about it, Jake?
Well, you know, the rumors of this have been swirling for I mean, years now. I kind of expected it. I didn't think that. Part of me thought they might in the reshoots try to you know, maybe be sly with it. And I know they filmed a couple of different versions of the scene, but I was pretty prepared for it. I can't say I'm too happy, but I also suspected. I knew this was going to be a different show, and we see by the end of the episode. I mean, it's mainly a new cast of characters. It's mainly a new setting, new apartments, new office, everything. It really is a new show, and you can't stop it from being what it is. And if they think Foggy doesn't have a place in that, well, then they sure gave him a heck of a scene and a great catalyst for the main character. So I didn't like seeing it.
You were sad about it.
The episode
it seems like Karen's not really a big part of it either. I mean, she moved out to wherever, San Francisco or something, and so
I'm hoping they bring her back.
But it seems like the rest of the show is, and I think she will be. I think they said when the Punisher's on, she's part of that story arc. But it seems like the show's coming together. It's awesome. It's tightly written. It's shot well. It could have used some post-production work, but I'm excited to see where it goes. It's hard to compare to the original just yet because the original is a fully finished piece that we've had almost a decade to watch and watch again. It's going to be hard to compare it so soon, but it seems like even though it's different, they're doing it right.
Yeah. How about Bullseye,
excited.
Sam? How'd you feel about seeing Bullseye back, played by the same guy?
Yeah. So Bullseye is actually probably my second. Well, probably if we're not including Daredevil and Kingpin, Bullseye was my favorite character from the original Netflix show. His acting, the actors, Wilson Bethel, he's awesome.
Yeah,
does a great job. My favorite storyline in the original one is when Kingpin is like reading through all of his files and everything and like seeing his life unfold or whatever.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool. I'm glad he's back. I'm sure he's gonna break out because I mean they're not just gonna.
Why is he still alive? That was my question.
Well, remember
he literally got threw off a building.
No, well, Kingpin like tested on him and gave him some sort of right. Don't they like?
I don't remember that.
He broke his back.
Yeah.
He's paralyzed.
The last scene of season 3, they show him on the operating table, and they're like, "Oh, we can't do this to a person." And the guy's like, "The patient knew the risks. We go with the procedure." I think they gave him some sort of like
weird.
I have a theory. I think that they gave him like some form of the super soldier serum would be my guess, because now that it's in the MCU, they can actually do stuff like that. So
yeah. I think you're right. I think he's gonna get out somehow next season, and I hope he has his comic book accurate costume.
Yes.
He didn't have the bullseye on his head. What the world? They had the opportunity to do it, and they didn't do it.
Yep.
That's okay. Let's get into some more stuff. Basically, Matt, new life, right? Refresh, new apartment, new girlfriend, all this stuff. You know, he's doing his law stuff.
And then Kingpin runs for mayor.
Let's go. Kingpin, played by the same guy. I love this character. Kingpin it's weird to see him smiling and laughing. He's having a great time without Vanessa.
Oh, no.
Sadly.
Dude,
it's
that
kind
was
of funny how
rough.
they explained like why they're having issues because of this Echo season and the Hawkeye season.
He's just
It's
off
like
doing other shows.
The MCU messed with our marriage, basically.
Dude, the craziest thing was when they've tied it all together, having the therapist who Matt's dating be the one to give him therapy.
That was wild.
That was good.
How are they going to? That's good writing.
She
They're gonna
was-
tie it all together. Jake.
Mm-hmm. She was one of the threads in the first 2 episodes. I was like, man, are they really just trying to weave a couple things in here? And then when that thread connected at the end of the second episode, I said, okay, it seems like they've got a pretty tight story going here. It all really came together by the end of that second episode. It was pretty exciting.
How are we feeling about kind of this initial tease of Muse coming in the future? This is the guy who like kills people and uses their blood for his art. Did you guys kind of catch who that was? In the episode where he's like, I need help to the one lady. So it's like, geez. I think that's who it is. That was. I don't know. That's just my theory, but crazy stuff, guys. Anything I'm missing about the first 2 episodes? You got the BB Urich report, kind of like playing off Ben Urich. Great character, Spider-Man reporter, right? Tucker, did you like seeing that? Just a little tie-in to, the original show and Spider-Man and all that? Yeah. Did you like the ground levelness of that, like the shaky camera?
Yeah, I didn't like. I liked in episode 1 where they're like they show, Hell's Kitchen. They do like little panaways to like the city, but then when it's like just 2 people talking, they're like moving the camera like a lot.
Yeah, I noticed all that. They were shaking a lot.
Are they trying to make it feel realistic, maybe? But it's kind of very early 2000s, I feel like the shaky camera, fake documentary. I don't know.
She's just starting out, you know what I mean?
Yeah. She's like, I can kind of tell they kind of rewrote the show. Can you guys kind of tell that too? Like they definitely filmed the Foggy death later, and I think they probably used clips they already filmed for the previous non-MCU version they already filmed, because then they redo this whole movie. I mean, this whole show. I mean,
yeah.
So pretty much, John, you got it.
No. Yeah. I think they did. It was like 18 episodes. I think.
Are you serious?
That's original. It was original.
No, they hadn't filmed that many. That was like the plan. But
yeah.
I think they'd filmed 4 full episodes. I think most of this like White Tiger story arc they had filmed. And remember, the original report was they were unhappy because the first couple episodes of the show didn't have Matt suiting up as Daredevil, and we've seen pretty much the first like cut of those episodes now. It would have started with that story after all the stuff. I did notice that the new characters, his PI and his new law partner, they felt kind of shoehorned into that opening scene at Josie's bar. But look, I get it.
Yes,
they're trying to stitch it
I do
together.
see that.
For something that was filmed to be one thing and then reshot and rewritten and recut to fit into something else, it's a miracle that it's as good as it is. I'm really patchwork noticeable.
I felt another kind of weird thing where Matt's just in the not like the holding cell place, and he just hears somebody. He's like, I need to go in there, and then he just like takes this case. I was kind of confused by that.
Oh yeah,
the White Tiger guy.
Oh, the White Tiger, yeah.
I wonder if they patched that together
a little
too.
bit.
Probably did.
And then they're doing the PIs investigating the guy and finds out he's the White Tiger, which is a character from the comics. So that's cool. I thought it was funny. It's like so serious, but then like once they're like in the courtroom and they're like, he doesn't have his magic amulet. I was like, what the frick? This feels so weird because the original Daredevil show is so grounded. Besides ninjas, obviously, but
yeah, well, they had ninjas and they had like the superpower, like the magic.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It was funny to hear during his day-to-day Daredevil stuff.
It reminded me
character.
of She-Hulk, like the amount of times Jennifer Walters would be like covering or like being the lawyer for just random people with powers. Like that's kind of what it reminded me of a little bit.
Yeah. But guys, any final thoughts? We got to move on. It was great. I loved it. I think the CGI could be fixed up, but besides that, I don't really have much complaints. Anything else?
Can't wait to see what else is coming down.
Yeah.
The road.
Crazy. There's already season 2 though, right? Announced.
Season 2 confirmed.
Yeah.
Here's the problem though: Disney Plus shows can really stick the beginning. It's the ending that we gotta wait for. You know, they have to stick the landing. Every Disney Plus show thus far, I've liked like the first episode, most of them. You know what I mean? Like, but they gotta stick the landing.
And that's the other thing. We haven't even seen Punisher in here yet, and yet, you know, this is really gonna be out.
Confirmed 2026
Nice.
Daredevil season 2. They're filming it right now, and then the Punisher Disney Plus special. Kind of like we've already gotten Werewolf by Night. We've got the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. We're gonna get a Punisher special. Come on, just add an hour and make it a movie, please. You know, how do you guys feel about this? Are you hype? John Bernthal, the best Punisher by far, in my opinion.
Well, you know, it's cool because, and the reason it's becoming a special is John Bernthal was saying when he was shooting for this new season of Daredevil, he said he went to different comic book stores around New York City and he talked to people there. He was like, "What do you know about the Punisher? What do you think about the Punisher?" He's like, "Can you recommend me good stories, things that have influenced you about the character?" Trying to connect with what people find interesting in this character. And people gave him some classic Punisher stories. They said, "Hey, buy this one." The owner of a comic book shop was probably like, "Yeah, buy all of these." But but and then he said he was reading some of the stories and he felt a spark of inspiration, but it wasn't a TV show, it wasn't a movie, it would be like a short film almost, he said. And so he brought it up to Marvel and they were like, "We have just the thing. We haven't done anything with it in a couple years. We have short films. We have a whole format for it. We call it a presentation." So that's how it was born. He's co-writing it.
They're going to film it with season 2. So they'll already have the production team there. They'll already have like the cameras. You know what I mean? So that's kind of cool. I feel like they should do that more often.
Perfect.
They kind of did that.
Yeah, John.
So I don't know if you guys remember, but what was the actor from the Punisher movie from like 2000? Yeah, he did There's a YouTube video.
It's actually pretty good. I've seen it, John.
It's actually pretty good.
Where he's like in a laundromat or something.
It was like laundromat. Yeah, they did something like that, and he's like in a laundromat, like getting his laundry done, and then like somebody outside the grocery store he's at is getting like beat up, and so he just goes outside and just beats them all with like a bottle with whiskey.
Whiskey bottle.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
A whiskey bottle. I'm pretty sure.
And like the Punisher's homeless. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
John, do you think that Disney will find a way to balance kind of the dark themes with their brand? I mean, we know in the past they've kind of Disneyfied things, John. So how do you feel about that?
It's going to be hard. I mean, it's going to be hard how they do Punisher. That's the one where I'm like, I don't know, because he's pretty hardcore. He is hardcore. Like he kills everybody, and he's pretty brutal. So I don't know. It's going to be hard how they're going to do it, but
I think they can pull it off.
I think they could. I just don't. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, guys. Any final thoughts on Punisher? Daredevil season 2 confirmed Matthew Lillard. Right? Am I right about that?
Yeah.
Interesting. Who do you guys think he's going to play?
Shaggy.
All crossover. 100%.
What the heck? Some people are saying
Rogers.
Sin Eater, but I've never heard of that villain before.
Yeah, that was an old movie, The Sin Eater. It used to scare me and Cam.
Oh yeah, that is a terrifying movie. So guys,
next.
Any final thoughts? Okay, we're good. Let's jump into the DCU. Guys, 20 things James Gunn has confirmed and talked about. We're basing this all off of an article that we found. 20 things. Let's get into it. The first one, number 1, Superman movie is almost done. This movie, we've got only one trailer. We need more. I want another trailer. I'm excited. But, Tuck, what should we expect, tone-wise? The movie's almost done. What do you want to see in this movie, tone-wise? Do you want it to be serious, dark?
I want it to be, serious, but not for, like, little kids, like there's, like, a joke every 10 seconds, Yeah,
that is a concern people are having because it's James Gunn. You know, like the potty humor.
Like, I wanted to like take it back to like the Christopher Reeves, like, he's just a guy and he wants to help people and he's not like this, God savior who's like emotionless and just like kills people.
Man of Steel. Dude, come on, Man of Steel. I love Man of Steel. Yeah.
Tough.
Here's another question, Bat Sam. How does this set up the DCU? Do you think they'll pull it off?
So I mean, when you think about it, they can kind of get away with Creature Commandos being a TV show because it's like not everybody has Max, so they don't necessarily have to see it. But if he didn't start off the DCU with Superman, people would have been outraged probably. So I think this is a perfect movie. Yeah, it's a perfect movie to start off. The thing I think that James Gunn is doing really smart is the fact that he's not like creating a new universe. It's just an already established universe that everything is taking place in. So that's like he can get away with, having Superman start, and then like I just think it's good that he's doing this because that way they don't fall in the same trap that Marvel did where for a time Iron Man was the only superhero
I agree.
in the universe, and that's why he can get people like Metamorpho and Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner.
I like the Watchmen Incredibles vibe where it's like this is an established world. Superheroes are here. Yes. It's not like everything's super realistic and Iron Man's the first guy to go outside of the realistic. I like that too. That's huge.
Everybody in universe is going to be used to it.
Morgan said, so hyped to see Crypto in live action. Nifty Thrifty. Yes, I'm hyped too. I think he looks cute.
Excited to see CGI
Crypto, John. You're about that?
I'm
You're about that? Let's move on. Point number 2. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is in production. This is our first set photo, actually. Millie Alcock is playing the titular role. And we have also Lobo confirmed, played by Jason Momoa. Pretty crazy. Daredevil, does this fit James Gunn's vision? How do you feel about this movie, Wade? It's the second movie in the lineup.
I mean, we're going to kind of talk about what his vision is, but it's just, I see what he's trying to do, like pull all these different kind of audiences, but it's kind of too soon to tell if this will just be a content piece to, just kind of check his quantity box, or if this will be actually established, and actually be an intriguing story that'll set up movies and shows for years to come.
Yeah. They've really got to establish her as the Supergirl, I've been thinking, like, Jake, how do you think Millie Alcock is going to top the past iterations? The show, we've got even a movie, right? There was a Supergirl show. There was a movie. We got the Flash version. Do you think she can pull it off? How do they do that, Jake? I don't know.
Well, she's probably going to be the first ever Supergirl with a respectable budget behind her. That's not on CBS or the CW or a low budget spin-off movie of the Christopher Reeves movies. I don't know. It seems like they're going for a little bit of I haven't read the comic.
It is really good. It is based on very good.
Great, very recent thing. So I can't speak to it, but it seems like they know exactly what they want to do, which is why I'm optimistic for it. It seems like they're not just like Wade was worried about saying, get Supergirl in there, get a movie going. It seems like they took this really recent, really popular, well-received series and said, let's build on this, So hopefully, I can't really speak too much to it.
I do like that it's based on something like, it's not like Captain America versus Red Hulk. Like they just pulled that story out of nowhere. That doesn't happen in the comics. I mean, it could have, but last question about this, John. Do you think they're going to pull off the Supergirl Superman dynamic, like this crossover? Do you think that's a smart move to like start up early with that? John, how do you feel about that?
I feel like they should. So are they?
Superman's not totally confirmed to be in this movie yet, so we don't know.
Okay, because I feel like they need to do their own separate movies first, and then bring them in later. Have them, kind
of like
do their own movies first, kind of like what they did with a lot of the Marvel or even the early DC movies. But yeah, I think they should start out with just Supergirl first and just have her own story. And I know because it is hard because Superman is really involved with Supergirl, and like when she comes to Earth, he's the one that kind of like teaches her and kind of like teaches her everything about Earth and what this is and what the planet is. So it's going to be hard. For them. I think.
That's the thing. Is this before or after like meeting Superman? That's kind of the confusing part. Maybe she'll show up in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into point number 3. The mysterious DCU project Gunn is writing. Wait, do we have a picture?
We do, but I think this is just your guesses, right?
What could it be? Could it be the Bane or Deathstroke movie that's rumored to be happening right now? So Gunn didn't confirm this, but he just said we have a writer for this certain movie. He's helping writing it. Bad Sam, what do you think it is? Sam?
I definitely think the Bane Deathstroke rumor could potentially be true because, you know, James Gunn is on Twitter 24/7 debunking things. And I could be wrong, but never once have I seen him say, oh, this is not existing, like, or this is a false rumor, because he's pretty quick to just
so why hasn't he debunked this yet? That's interesting.
So I think the thing that he's trying to figure out, obviously, is I feel like Bane and Deathstroke are definitely two big DC characters that like people would go and see, but I think they're probably trying to figure out if they want to make it just about them or if they want it to be more of a team movie kind of, because, you know, James Gunn's whole thing is making team up movies with a group of misfits. So I could totally see them having, like, you know, Deathstroke and Bane, and then have a character like, I don't know, Brother Blood show up. I can see that. Yeah, like, just have like
what a cut.
Yeah, like interesting DC villains that kind of like a Suicide Squad, but maybe just they're not good. They're literally just mercenaries going out.
This is one of my like concerns. Is like we're getting all these random projects, which we're going to talk about a lot of them. But it feels like if you were going the MCU route, it wouldn't work because all we are going to have is like Superman, Supergirl, Clayface, Peacemaker. I don't know how those connect. I'm kind of, just go.
Well, see, that's the toss up with it. Is it's like, would you rather them start from scratch and you only see for the first like 10 years of the universe, you only see a Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and like a Green Lantern movie, or would you rather have it already be established and you're just seeing several different
and they're
aspects,
just throwing stuff at the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Tuck, do you think Gunn needs to chill or keep cooking?
I think he's on a pretty good track. I thought it was smart to, like establish this. It's already like a lived in universe.
Yeah.
I like how he's just like, oh, here's Clayface. Let's give him a movie. I think that's kind of smart. Like,
I do kind of like that a little bit where he's like, hey, this script is really good. Let's do it. Yeah. I do kind of like that mindset. He said
play and the script is like interesting and I think it'd be a good movie that it's going to be a movie. I think that's a smart idea.
Yeah. Next point, Batman, Brave and the Bold actively being developed. We're out of order, Wade.
Oops, sorry.
You're good. Who should be the DCU Batman, Jake? Who's your perfect Batman?
John Hamm.
Depends on the vibe they're going for. John Hamm would have been a fantastic Batman. I still think he would be a fantastic Batman.
Pretty good one.
And John and I have talked about this before. Not in a while, John. That's a good callback. And you put the words in my mouth. John Hamm.
This movie is confirmed to be about Batman, his relationship with his son Damian Wayne, and we're going to talk about this later. But obviously Pattinson is separate. Wade, how do you feel? Should he stay separate? You feel like that or no?
Well, honestly, Jacob and I have kind of talked about this before. I think you even mentioned it on a previous episode, but I wish they had just kind of said that his Batman movie was the start of the new DCU. Like include him in as canon. Because I mean, at this point, he's just considered outside legend or whatever, or Elseworld or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's just a strange move if you want to start having a connected universe. But I know that was kind of like right before all this came up, so it's just an awkward place because it sucks because it was such a good movie.
I think they're so worried about like the fantastical side, like that this Batman feels so grounded. We can't just throw him into the Superman world and like fighting aliens and stuff. But I don't know.
I guess so. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's fine. Whatever. At this point, just do it. Just put make something. Make Batman, please.
I mean, Batman looked huge, massively strong in Creature Commandos. If you guys saw that picture, they did show the DCU Batman. James Gunn's confirmed that's him. They just showed his silhouette in Creature Commandos, the cartoon show. But John, do you think they need a strong pick to play Batman? Like, do they need a well-known, established actor, or do you think they should just go with some random guy nobody's ever heard of who's like a bodybuilder actor or something? What do you think, John?
That, that's a hard one because you have all these actors. They either play Batman really well or they play
That's the
Bruce Wayne
problem.
pretty
Yeah.
really well, and you can't. It's hard to get both done right. That's a hard one. I don't know who could fill that role.
It is hard, but The Rock.
Real quick, we got some Batman comments.
My perfect Batman is John Job. Me too.
And then one hot take here, real quick.
Hot take: Rob is my favorite Batman. Team Edward forever. Oh dang!
No, Team Jacob.
Team John.
Amen. Amen.
Jacob.
The service that Twilight did to me in middle and high school can never be repaid. When half the girls in the school are on your
There you go.
Jake. Jakey boy.
Guys.
Jacob all the way.
All right, 0.5. We're getting through these, Wade. I know. We're moving slow. 0.5. Paradise Lost, Booster Gold, and Swamp Thing remain in development. They're still
Is that
happening.
this one? No, that's not this, is it?
That's not this either. No. There might not. Oh, this one. Yes. So as you guys can see, this is the current slate. You got Creature Commandos already happened. We've got Superman in active development. It was called Legacy. It's not anymore, obviously. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. But yeah, so these shows, they're still in development. I heard James Mangold said he's either going to do a Star Wars movie or he's going to do Swamp Thing. He hasn't chosen yet, I guess, or they're not letting us know which movie he's filming next. So, he's in that Oscar run with a complete unknown and Timmy Shalley. So, yeah. Wade, will these even happen? Do you think, Paradise Lost, we got that Wonder Woman show?
I'll
Booster
believe
Gold.
it when I see the trailer, because honestly, my fear is when you have, we'll get to his quota in a bit, but when you have this new quota, I mean, you better get cracking on these things. It seems like going Fast and Furious route has already started to fatigue them a little bit in the filmmaking process, kind of like how Marvel is now. Because it's like if these things are already delayed or whatever,
they do need to get cracking, which we're going to talk about.
So,
are we even excited for these, Jake? Are you even excited for some of these more lesser known characters?
I don't know a lot of this stuff really well. I've read a lot more Marvel comics than DC comics. I mean, if you've seen the shelf in my room, there's probably this many Marvel and maybe couple DC ones. So I'm just kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of along for the ride.
But I mean, you like James Mangold. I mean, Swamp Thing, that's kind of crazy.
I do. Yeah. He's it's like we heard last week. He's a certified dad filmmaker. He just puts out hit after hit. So him putting his stamp on something like this.
Next point, number 6. Peacemaker season 2 is deeper and it's more personal this time because Rick Flag Sr. is involved. And as you know, if you've seen The Suicide Squad, Peacemaker kills his son Rick Flag Jr. As we didn't even know that.
Really?
We didn't know he was a junior the whole time.
No,
Rick Flag Senior.
I didn't know this guy was supposed to be in the show.
Isn't that guy from the MCU? The second guy.
Yeah.
What
So
is
Crossbones.
Yeah, Frank Grillo. He's so mad about the MCU because he got killed off. And
I was hoping
they told me
whatever though. You're a secondary character.
Yeah. He was
but
so
he's
mad.
a pretty
He's
good villain.
They killed me off. He is.
Yeah, Crossbones is a pretty big villain. I'm surprised they nuked him. I mean, it was for a good point. It wasn't pointless, but boy, he showed up in costume quick and then left. But that's really cool. Now, I've only seen the first 2 episodes of Creature Commandos, but he seemed a lot older in that show.
Yeah, so that's the thing. They aged him up in the cartoon, but he looks
kind of
young. Apparently, they're gonna talk it away with he has some sort of enhancements because he kind of almost. Which we won't talk. I won't spoil Creature Commandos, but you'll see. I don't know.
Okay, well, if they're gonna say something, at least cool. I don't care. But no, that was cool. When they quote unquote rebooted the DCU, I was kind of like, and they said that Creature Commandos was about Senior.
Rick Flag Senior.
What's his
Rick
name?
Flag Senior.
You just said it 10 times. Rick Flag Senior. I just kind of figured that was their way of being not retreading on Rick Flag and recasting him, but just being like, oh
it's the same character though.
But then in the first episode, it is the same character. In the first episode of Creature Commandos, they say my son was killed on Corto Maltese, and I was like, okay, so first of all, this is just straight up connected. Second of all, I was like, okay, interesting way to work it in, though. So, I mean, cool that that's going forward. I like the actor from animation being in live action. he said he's committed to that, James Gunn, and I think
Cool.
that's going to work out really well.
Tucker, do you even care about this show? Did you see the first season?
Of Creature of Commandos?
No, Peacemaker.
Oh.
I thought we were talking about Peacemaker. Sorry.
I don't have HBO Max, so I don't watch it. But
yeah,
I saw the ending and like the Justice League shows up, so I don't know how they're gonna like tie that in.
Yeah, how are they gonna explain that? You know, and this
The
gets
old
into
Justice League.
Literally Ezra Miller, Aquaman.
Oh,
Yeah.
no!
Ezra Miller.
What a mess
Oh, wow.
they've created for themselves.
Ezra Miller and Aquaman just standing there in the scene talking to Peacemaker, and it's
Why
like,
did they keep this canon?
oh,
That
wow.
is my question. It's kind of weird.
Because it's James Gunn, right?
He made it, I guess.
He made it, so
one of his babies. Yeah.
You know, Sam, do you think this is too convoluted? How do you feel about this?
I definitely think if I was a betting man, I'd say he definitely had at least part of the script written for Peacemaker 2 before he even like became head of DC. So he probably thinking to himself, okay, I've already written this. People liked Peacemaker. I might as well just keep doing it. And I mean, if you remember, that was one of the first questions they asked him. Hey, like, is Peacemaker canon? Is Suicide Squad canon? And it seemed like every other month we'd get a different answer that was making it more convoluted. But I think at this point, he's just decided, like, I think the last time he was asked about it, he said, everything in Peacemaker is canon except for the Justice League scene. So I think at this point, people just have to accept, like, hey, he's just going to pick and choose. I think with Suicide Squad, he'll just be like, you know, if Margot Robbie isn't going to play Harley Quinn and, you know, I don't know if Idris Elba is going to come back and play Bloodsport, but maybe they won't have new actors. But I think he'll just pick and choose what he wants to keep, and then people will just have to accept, okay, when I watch Peacemaker season 1, everything is canon, and then when I watch Suicide Squad again, some of
it is kind of interesting. I think they're
ridiculous for just like if you're just coming in as like a casual viewer, but you know,
maybe they're gonna explain it away as like a dream, like it was all a dream.
He dreamed of a really weird Flash and
a creepy really Flash that ends up in my house by surprise.
The first season was really good, so I'm glad they're continuing it. But yeah, it's a little bit of a tough thing to wrap your head around. I do kind of like the idea that maybe the way they're going to go through this whole thing is you don't need to watch everything. You know, Marvel's kind of leaning a little that way right now. You know, if you missed a show here or there, you're probably going to be fine when the Avengers come back. Even though it very much used to be, if you missed something, you missed something. I think I kind of like that. It's going to be you didn't see Commandos, Peacemaker's not for you. Go, enjoy Superman. Everyone might be able to eat at the table here. So,
well, that's even what James Gunn said in an interview. He was like, he said he wanted to make it so that all the stories that were in the DCU like didn't necessarily set up another show or movie that you would have to watch. He wanted it to be like its own standalone story that all just took place in the same universe. So,
point 7, Gunn is already working on Creature Commandos season 2. That's pretty self-explanatory. So yeah, that's happening. Let's get into the next point. Point 8, Lantern's TV show has ties to Superman. Oh, we got our first set photo, baby. If you can look closely at
what is the set photo, dude?
Hal Jordan,
two bros walking down a road.
Two bros. Dude, I hope they get stranded somewhere and it's like a buddy comedy type thing, or it's super serious. I don't know. Crazy.
It's going to be interesting to see an older Hal Jordan. Jon Stewart looks perfect. I think Green Lantern does work best in a TV show.
You can see his ring on his finger actually if you zoom in on that picture, but we can't zoom it on it here probably. But pretty crazy. Jake, what kind of vibe should this show have? Sci-fi epic, detective mystery? How do you feel like they should go down this road? I mean, it's a weird thing to have it on Earth, you know?
I mean, all of the above, I think. If you're going to have two lanterns together the entire show, it's got to be funny, dude. They've got to be playing off of each other. But I'd like to. I mean, I like you said, I think it should bend a couple genres. There's going to be a lot of sci-fi. I mean, they have rings that turn into everything, you know. But you know, it seems like Wade said, they're just two dudes. So that means they're going to have dude problems. So
I'm wondering if somehow Jon Stewart's going to replace him. I don't know. John, how do you feel about this set photo? Do you like it? Are you going to watch it?
I mean, I mean, it's just two guys walking down a road. Like, I mean, it's like okay, it's all right. I mean,
but it is on HBO. So
Yeah.
does that kind of give you hope? Maybe.
I guess.
HBO. So what I understand is HBO is owned by Warner Brothers, but they are their own thing, and they get to choose what they take. Like the Penguin was a Max original, and yet they saw the quality of the production, and they said, we want to put this on real HBO. So people like my dad see it. I mean, my dad doesn't stream, but he watches things that are on HBO. Like if HBO says here's a new original show, and he watched it and he loved it. So they probably saw what it's shaping up to be and said it's legit. We want our name on it, and that's part of the reason why it's not HBO Max anymore. Is the Max originals were kind of slipping in quality from maybe what HBO themselves wanted. Remember, HBO is an entity in the Warner Brothers kind of family, so HBO looking at the show and saying yes is a huge, huge good sign.
Yeah, let's move on, Wade. I'm switching it up a little bit. Clayface movie will be full horror, possibly directed by James Watkins, and possibly set in the DCU, possibly not. Pretty crazy. Clayface, actually really like Clayface as a character. I love his version from the animated Batman movie. I hope this ties in. I hope we get a cameo of Batman of some sort, but I was really thinking with like the hype of The Substance. I mean, it's an Oscar-nominated movie, body horror type thing. John, do you think this is a timely movie? Do you think this is like the right time to do this? Full-on horror DC movie.
That's risky.
Do you think it'll be an anti-hero?
Oh, please,
he's actually
no.
good.
No, I if they do another one of those, I'll turn it off. I'll leave the theater. Horror with Clayface. I don't know. That's going to be difficult. I mean, I do I don't know much about Clayface, but I just know from
actor turned into clay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, I think I mean, if they do a horror movie, if any of these DC characters were to turn into a horror movie, I think Clayface is probably the best one.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, or Killer Croc. Killer Croc would be cool.
Killer Croc would be sick. Tuck, do we need more horror in superhero movies? I know you're a horror fan. So how do you feel about this, Tuck? Are you excited for this?
I am. I thought he looked pretty cool in Creature Commandos.
Oh, yeah. Is it that Clayface, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe. If it's outside of the DCU or not, I don't know. They haven't confirmed that or not, so.
I think there's two different types of Clay. There's two different guys in the comics.
Yeah, there is, I think, yeah.
The one from the animated series.
Basil Carlo, and Sam, do you know the other one?
Well, I think there's more. I think there's 3 or 4, because I know there's a woman as well, and his husband or something. But I know who you're talking. It's Basil Carlo and because they use both in the animated series.
Yeah.
They if I remember. So
but,
I don't remember.
Something.
So Wait, Sam, is it a timely movie?
Yeah. Is it a timely movie? I think so. It's funny because most people I feel wouldn't have normally seen it without success of movies like The Substance, I think it was called. And I definitely think especially for DC fans, Clayface is one of my favorite characters as well. He's definitely top 3 favorite Batman villains. He's awesome. I've been wanting to see him in a movie for years. So I definitely think that this is a good movie for them to do. I think they need to make it definitely character driven though. Don't make it super action heavy. If you want to throw Batman in the end,
that would be sick.
Sure, but I think what they do is make this his origin story, because he's a struggling actor who in the comics takes a substance that is supposed to help him change
to be more handsome
or whatever. Yeah, but then he takes too much of it and then turns poopy.
Yeah, I love it.
Definitely, if they make it really sad and kind of tragic about everything that's happening in his life, then I definitely think it'll be.
They pulled off Joker. Sure. I mean, maybe that's their idea here. Just make a bunch of villain and actually make it. The Joker is a villain movie. I actually like that it's actually a villain movie. It's not like Morbius where he's a good guy pretty much, but just has some moral dilemmas here and there.
In the sequel, Ariana plays female Clayface, and then they turn it into a musical.
Yeah, that's the Clayface 2 is a musical with the love interest of another Clay woman. Oh, we lost Tucker. That's okay.
He'll come back in a minute.
He'll come back in a minute. So guys, should we move on? Clayface is happening.
Let's move on.
Number 10, Dynamic Duo is this first animated movie of the DC of, it's not actually, it might not be in the DCU, but it's the first animated movie under James Gunn. Wade, should all DC projects be connected? Should this be Elseworlds? This is about Nightwing and Red Hood is what they're confirming. Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, the first two Robins, basically. Some sort of origin story mixed with puppetry and CGI animation. That's how it's described. So Wade, how do you feel about this?
At this point, these Elseworlds, I think they have to do what they're going to have to do to produce this much content. However, I think it is gonna come at a cost, kind of confusion for just the average viewer.
You think there's gonna be confusion? Okay, yeah.
Sure, yeah, because it's like, oh, is this connected to this? Oh no, this is separate. For the average person, they're not gonna know that. But they might not even care. They might just be like, just watch this because it's a new superhero thing.
Yeah, but they might think it's something different. Like if you think about it, like the Lego Batman movie came out at the same time as Batman versus Superman. I don't think people were too confused. You know what I mean? But you might could tell those were separate universes, I guess. Maybe they're going to really establish that this movie is different. Jake, how you feeling about this? A two Robins movie, Dynamic Duo. Kind of a weird choice.
Sounds cool. You know me, I'm not too big on the Elseworlds thing, but the concept sounds cool. I love animation. Maybe especially creative animation if they're talking about some sort of mix of puppetry and CGI. They have my interest.
Maybe it'll be so good they'll make it part of the DCU. I guess we'll see. Point number 11, 4 family-friendly DCU shows are confirmed. Here's a picture of all of them, which we've already gotten Creature Commandos Season 2. We're going to get My Adventures with Superman Season 3, which actually, I've watched that. It's pretty good, actually. Aztec Batman, that's just an animated movie, not connected whatsoever. We're getting a Blue Beetle animated show. Crazy. Same Blue Beetle from the movie that we got, the HBO Max movie. We're getting My Adventures with Green Lantern. That's going to be connected to the My Adventures with Superman animated show. We're getting a Starfire show. That's pretty exciting. I actually really like Starfire. She's obviously a Teen Titan. I hope this connects, which we'll talk about. There's a Teen Titans movie confirmed coming out. Superpowers, the cartoon show. This is a movie. Sorry, not a movie. This is a show where basically it's like a school for gifted youngsters, and Martian Manhunter is the headmaster. So
are these actually going to be family friendly, or are they just animated?
These are family friendly. Besides, not Creature Commandos. I just picked this picture. So these are 4 new animated family-friendly shows that they have confirmed coming out. Sam, is 4 animated shows too much? How do you feel about these shows?
I don't think it's too much. I think it would have been too much had them all been set in the DCU. Sure. But the fact that most of these are probably just going to be offshoots of Elseworlds or their own separate entity, I think it's perfect because that way, if kids want to watch it, great. Adults can watch it if they want, but because it's not connected, they could have 10 animated projects going on. I don't think it really matters as long as.
I think they have different teams too for each show, probably, right? Yeah.
And I definitely think that because think about it, like Warner Brothers constantly has DC content coming out of random movies and
Harley Quinn show.
So yeah, exactly. The new DC animated movies they were making, like Crisis on Infinite Earths and stuff. So I definitely think this is probably just them saying, hey, we've got content for all ages. So whether you're 6 years old or 60 years old, you can enjoy our DC
That's exciting. That's cool. Wade, do you think we need more kid-friendly superhero content? Do you think this is a good thing?
Yeah, if you're trying to reach multiple bases, multiple fan bases, and then reach new viewers, that's a good way to do it.
For sure,
have all audience are welcome.
Yeah, let's move on. Point 12: the DCU is aiming for 7 projects per year, and this is crazy.
Oh my word!
2 live-action movies, 1 animated movie, 2 live-action shows, and 2 animated shows per year that are set in the DC universe. This is not including Elseworld stuff. Crazy. Wade, how do you feel about this? Do you think this is too much?
Dude, honestly, I don't know if James Gunn can handle that. Seriously.
You think he can do it?
Well, the MCU started delving into this, and they started producing a lot of mediocre stuff because of it, and they had Kevin Feige over them. So I mean, the DCU kind of I don't see how they can do it different. I mean, it's so hard to judge right now since we haven't really even seen one big
Superman
project from James Gunn, like a movie or something.
Yeah.
So, it's hard to it's we haven't seen any projects, so does he even deserve to have that many projects a year come out? I don't know yet.
John, do you think this oversaturation could hurt DC again, just like it did with the DCU, just like with Marvel? Do you think this is going to hurt them in the long run, or do you think this is smart? Do you think this is a great strategy?
Maybe tone it back a little.
Maybe it's a good goal. It's a good goal for sure.
Yeah, you can put it as a goal, but with James Gunn, it's going to be hard. A part of me thinks he doesn't still fully understand DC fans and what they want, and all these projects. It's they might be good, but it's not what they want. I think, and I think a lot of people are kind of getting superhero kind of fatigue.
Yeah,
and so
that is the question. It's is this where is this gonna go? Which we'll get to, how is this gonna all connect and stuff. But Tucker, do you think they should do? Should they do fewer high quality projects, kind of like the MCU used to be, 1 or 2 movies a year, and that was it? You know what I mean? How do you think? Do you think they should focus that way, or do you think James is good here?
I think 7 is a lot, but if they pick interesting characters and the movies are good, then I think
James Gunn has to delegate.
Yeah, I think they should play it a little safe. 7 is a little too much, maybe 4. But movies are good and they got good writing and they're interesting characters. I think it's
I could do it a couple, do 2 or 3 a year, and then maybe see how that goes, and then
they seem pretty flexible as guys. Sure. They're just him and Peter Safran. They're just we're just doing stuff, Which it makes sense because if you look at what happened to the DCEU, it's they were playing it safe at first and they weren't making money. But the reason they weren't making money is because the writing wasn't good. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Jake, how do you feel about this? Too much or not enough?
Too much, especially maybe that amount of projects if it wasn't if it was everything including Elseworlds. But if that's just the DCU, look, now I'm saying too much, but there's a chance, remember, that a lot of this stuff doesn't really, I don't want to say matter, but by the time they figure out or they get around to the Justice League, there's a chance that maybe if you only watch half the projects in a year and probably the big ones, you might be fine. So I don't know. It's ambitious. It feels like too much, but who knows? Maybe we'll be enjoying ourselves so much. I guess
we'll see. They have to execute and do it well. Next point: balancing connected stories and standalone movies leading up to an Endgame-like movie in 6 to 7 years. Wade, do you think they can do this? Wade, do you think they can do this? An event Endgame-like movie.
In 6 to 7 years, I mean, sure. In 6 to 7 years, that's not a bad timeline, I guess, because I mean, if they got up to Avengers in 4 years, I mean, I guess it's possible. It's just, that's a ton of characters on this picture you chose here. We'll see if we get that many, but
and put Clayface and Punisher in there. Sam, do you think they can handle this major crossover event coming soon?
So this is about to be probably a hot take. So you guys react how you want, but my thought process for them is I don't think they should be doing a Justice League movie for a while.
Yeah.
I think what they need to do if they want to make crossover movies is make a crossover movie, but have it be about the different have it be about make a Batman movie and have it be a crossover movie because they're already setting up different Robins
Superman Supergirl movie.
Yeah, and then do, you know, a Flash movie, make a Lanterns movie with, you know, Guy Gardner, Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan. You can throw Kyle Rayner
And then
in
it's a
there
big team
like
up movie. He does love his team up movies.
right. And then because I feel like the problem with Marvel, especially when they were starting out, was that when they were making these Avengers movies, you were like expecting every hero that you had seen before to show up in the movie, and then when they didn't, you're like, oh shoot, why didn't this character show up in the movie? So I think if they, at least for a couple of years, just make smaller team up movies, like make a Bat Family movie, make a Green Lanterns movie where there's several lanterns in it, and then maybe in like, you know, a couple of years from now, maybe 7 to 10 years, then you can make a Justice League movie with the characters that, because think about it this way, if they do it so that way they're making smaller team up movies, they can see which characters the audience enjoys the most. So that way when they make their big Justice League movie, they can say, okay, the audience really likes, you know, Martian Manhunter and Booster Gold, so let's make sure that they're part of the Justice League movie, big characters. That's kind of my thought process, just to be different
that's
from
a cool
Marvel,
take.
so that way it's not like,
I haven't heard it described like
just
that.
so that,
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, when they watch Justice League, you know, you're not expecting every single DC character to show up in the movie. But
so it's like playing it by ear every year. It's like playing it by ear. Okay, these characters are good. Let's lock them in. You know, we've got Superman, Lantern, Supergirl. Lock them in.
Because think about it, Justice League, depending on the comics you read, there's 6 members or there's 600 members. It just depends on the story. So,
I mean, I'm excited for a huge Endgame-like event with Darkseid, I hope. So we will see. Let's get to the next point. 14, Matt Reeves has yet to submit a script for Batman 2. It's delayed to October 1st, 2027.
Everyone just went like...
Here's the problem. Robert Pattinson is the young Batman, right? He's the young man. He is going to be the age of Ben Affleck in Batman vs. Superman, and he's older than Christian Bale when Christian Bale played Batman in The Dark Knight Rises. I know he looks young, but that is insane.
Wow. Those are crazy stats.
Maybe they could do the second movies like years, well, I don't know, years later where he's older. I don't know.
Man.
That's
I mean, he was 32 when he was cast.
Whoa.
But that was 2 years before they started the movie. He's 34 by the time the movie comes out. I think, actually, no, he's older than that. So he's in his 40s. So he'll be 42 by the time the movie comes out. So 43, 42. What is taking him so long, Dave? Is this good or bad?
Is he working on
anything? Is writing the script currently.
Well,
he's George R.R. Martin.
How would you feel if you wrote an amazing first movie that did pretty good, and you know the fan base loved it, and now you're told you're writing it for an Elseworld character?
I'd be more excited.
You have no limitations.
That's true.
Maybe I'm limited on the characters they give me to use, but once they give me a character, I can do whatever I want. So I'd be trying to get this out before whatever happens.
That's fair.
You know,
you're right.
I'd want Batman 2 to come out before.
Me too.
Bold, before the Duo Boys. You know, I'd kind of want to get in. I'd want to get out.
Is he too old? You know, Tuck, how do you feel about this? Is he too old?
No.
I think they can pull it off.
No, I don't think he's like what? He's like 34, right?
No, he's in his 40s.
He'll be in his 40s.
Yes, he's 40. He'll be 43 when the movie releases.
I thought he was like 31.
No, he looks good. He looks good. They can pull it off.
It's good. That vampire DNA. It's keeping him
young. Yeah.
I mean,
are you still excited for the movie?
Yeah, but it's like, is it really going to come out though if it keeps getting like delayed and delayed?
But I think it's because of the DCU shakeup, like that James Gunn. James Gunn is definitely like, you can't film this until the script is submitted. That's what it feels like. Maybe the first one was made like on the whim, like he's like making decisions as he's making the movie, and it's like maybe James Gunn is like not having that. You know what I mean? Like that kind of style of filmmaking. Jacob, do you have any insight on that? You're a film guy, obviously, but
I part of me even wonders if James Gunn is just said, hold, like go work on something else. Don't write for now. Or there's a chance that Matt Reeves just doesn't know what to do.
Maybe that is. Yeah, I mean, it's like, hey, he had the.
I mean, it's
he
true.
Did so good. He did so good, and it's like, how can I top this? I can't do it. I'm not Christopher Nolan.
The movie doesn't necessarily scream sequel setup. It leaves a lot of pieces hanging, but at the end of the day, it tells a pretty complete story. Okay, I'm sorry. It doesn't leave a lot of pieces hanging. It tells a pretty complete story. It sets the table for future things. I mean, and we know now the Penguin's out there. He's going to be a serious problem. The Joker and the Riddler are in Arkham. Catwoman's out there. I mean, these pieces are on the board, but the story itself was not like, all right, well, let's get to it. Like a lot of maybe part ones might be. So maybe there's just nothing there yet, really.
What villain do you do? Hush, Mr. Freeze.
I've heard Hush probably, but if I'm Matt Reeves, I'm getting nervous right now because if he doesn't get it out soon, I mean, Brave and the Bold is gonna come out, and what is he gonna do?
It's better.
If, like, Brave and the Bold comes out and people are like, "Wow, this movie's really good," like, and then he's like, "Well, dude, I haven't even released Batman Part 2 yet, and it's 2027, 2028." I feel like at that point, if Brave and the Bold Batman is better than Robert Pattinson Batman, I almost like
just leave Batman as its own thing.
I'm like, okay,
at this point, I want a 5 minutes short of Robert Pattinson's Batman stopping Oz in his purple car, getting him out, and then beating him to death, and just calling it a day. That's the end of the story.
Man,
I'd be fine with that.
Second place, Chris Pratt is only 45. He could always take the role. Second place, he's been on the pod. Aaron, dude.
Here's one more from second place.
Man-Bat villain for Batman Part 2. Man-Bat, Kirk Langstrom. He's a
Man-Bat.
It's so weird. Matt Reeves said he only wants grounded stuff, so it's only going to be like mob bosses and crazy people, I guess.
Let's move on, guys. We got a few more points.
This one kind of ties in with the last one here, but Robert Pattinson is not the DCU's Batman.
Yeah, so we kind of already know that. Good call, bad call. What, yay or nay, guys? How you feeling about it?
It's an important call. Who knows if it was the right or the wrong one?
All right,
it's huge.
Yeah.
Let's move on, Wade.
Okay.
Point number 16. The Authority, Waller, Booster Gold, and Swamp Thing all face setbacks. They're having script issues or their showrunner leaves. Like, I think he had a showrunner for Booster Gold who stepped down. Swamp Thing, in development. Waller, what even is that story? I'm not excited for that. I don't care about that. The Authority, I've read the comic books. I like The Authority. I think it's cool. Do you think this is too niche? These things are too niche for general audience, John, and maybe that's why they're kind of struggling to fit them in.
Yeah, probably. I don't like. Not every side character needs a movie.
Amen.
They don't need their own show
like
or movie.
Waller.
Just leave them. Yeah, Waller. That's a prime example. It's like, it's just let her be.
Let her be that Nick Fury character. I don't understand.
I don't need some obscure side characters mentioned once in a comic from 20 years ago to have their mainstay show above the Flash.
I don't need this is what happened with Secret Invasion. We got that Nick Fury show, and it was so weird. It's like it didn't really make sense to the plot and stuff. So I don't know. The Authority is really cool if they could tie it in. You've got that character, the Engineer, who's going to be in Superman. She is an Authority character, which is kind of interesting because the Authority, I think DC bought that line of characters back in the 90s and just inserted them. But not really. They're kind of disconnected. But James Gunn liked him so much. They're kind of like the boys a little bit. So, yeah, interesting. So, these movies are in some developmental setbacks. We will see what happens. I mean, Booster Gold might be fun. Time travel. Let's move on. 17. James Gunn still focused on DCU video games, but the Wonder Woman game got canceled. Shut down by Monolith Productions.
Thank goodness.
I fumbled to my knees when I read this article. I'm not even joking.
It's kind of interesting. Yeah, what were they trying to go with this show? This game.
Okay, so I was so excited because at the last time they did DC Fandom, this was like the last thing they announced, and I was like, perfect. Monolith, like is making it. They made the Shadow of War games. They did the whole
Oh,
Nemesis
yeah.
system. And then we didn't really hear anything. There was some concept art leaked, kind of like some style of play they were trying to do. It was going to all take place on Themyscira, and it was going to be like the gods were going to come and like try to take over or something like that. But I read that apparently the problem was James Gunn came in and he kind of was like, oh, could you guys maybe, because they made the story and everything and they were making the game. Like, oh, do you think you guys could maybe make it part of the DCU? And they were like, okay, well, we got to rewrite a lot of the story, but we can try. So then that's why it was set back. They were trying to make it. But then after that, apparently, this came out a couple days after they announced it was canceled. They, I guess, told them again they wanted them to not even make it a Wonder Woman game. They were like, change it to a completely different. They're like, we want you to still work on it, but it's not Wonder Woman.
Oh, that's
it's like
so bad.
Completely different. Yeah, they said it was a completely different IP address too, or not address, but an IP. So like Game of Thrones or something like that.
No.
And so then they were struggling to make it, and then Warner Brothers or DC, whoever, was just like, you know what, we don't want you anymore.
That's
so
terrible.
They canceled it.
Tuck, do you think this is smart to have video games that are set in the DCU? Do you think that's too confusing? Because not a lot of people play video games. You know, like it's kind of a niche audience. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's smart. So if like, oh, this character isn't really like movie adaptable, like he's too overpowered, maybe like the Flash, you know, make like a game. And
yeah,
I think a Flash game would be pretty cool. But
yeah,
like he's kind of a hard character to write because he's too overpowered. So maybe it would be like a good idea for a game.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know how they do this because like if it's super connected, like. It has to be interesting for one thing, you know what I mean? But if it's too interesting, it's like some people are going to miss it, you know what I mean? Because not a lot of people play video games. So I don't know. It's interesting. It might be a smart move, but it seems like James Gunn might have screwed over the Wonder Woman game. That's kind of funny, Sam. I did not know that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Let's move on. 18 Justice League movies are planned but not confirmed. What's your guys? I want the Justice League lineup from Justice League, the cartoon. We've already got Hawk Girl. We've already got Jon Stewart, my favorite Green Lantern. We've already got Superman. John, do you think this is the way they should go? Do you think they should do some Justice League movies? Do you like, John, you like Justice League, right?
I like Justice League, yeah. I love the show, the animated show, the
so
cartoon from early 2000s. That's great. But yeah, I think they should eventually do the Justice League, and yeah, it's I'm trying to think
how do they build up to this?
how do they build up to it? It's like I honestly, you know what? Let's I think they should just keep it simple, leave it 6 or 5, keep it small.
I kind of agree with that.
Don't
at first.
Just at first you could, but I think they should just leave it 7 or 10, whatever it is, how many they need, and just keep it small, and then let them figure out how they because when you introduce all these characters, it's hard to MCU, when they did all those Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, I feel like people don't realize how difficult that was to have all these characters and put them in 2 movies, but they did it so well, and that's a hard thing to do, and I don't know if the Justice League, if DCEU is up to that.
Wade, do you think do you think the Trinity is important, like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman? Do you think they will pull that off? I mean, I think it's really important.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. It needs to be 6, and I think it needs to be Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, and Hawk Girl, and that's it.
Cyborg.
No.
Cyborg, Shazam, Booster Gold.
No.
Next point. 19. Superman is focused on 3 characters with many supporting heroes. He's describing it as if, say, you're watching a movie, there is side characters, right? But with this, the side characters are characters that everybody knows from years and years of comics. So that's kind of the issue. Some people think this movie is like there's too much characters, you know. But I see his argument there. It's like the side characters are just very well known characters from comics. So yeah, does this make you feel better about the movie, Jake? Do you feel like this is a good move to have your core 3, but there is some side characters? I don't know.
I like it because the supporting cast isn't made up of people with a first name and a last name and nothing to really offer. The supporting cast is made up of characters we'd all be asking to see on the screen to begin with.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of that. I don't mind if Mr. Terrific has 10 lines. He's there. That's
you don't
cool
think the movie will lose its focus with like so many popular characters? That's good.
No.
Last point, boys. This is it. James Gunn's DCU Slate, which we didn't talk about actually before this last point. Teen Titans movie confirmed.
Okay, so that's what this was.
That's what that was. Sorry,
you added this in there, and I popped it up twice.
I'm so hyped for this. I love the Teen Titans just because of the old show. The new, even Teen Titans Go, I like that. I love Teen Titans Go to the movies. So freaking good. They have to pull this off well. We need Cyborg. You need the original stack up, guys. I don't know. Wade, how do you feel about Teen Titans? Good.
I'm with you, but this looks like an anime, honestly.
That's just like a comic cover I just found.
Oh, okay.
But it is confirmed they are working on a Teen Titans
gotcha.
movie.
Wait, is Beast Boy?
I hope Beast Boy's in it, dude.
Oh.
Hey, mama.
Yeah.
Last point. A second Superman trailer is on the way. So, Tuck, you excited for that second trailer coming?
Yes.
What do we need to see? What do we need to see in this trailer, guys?
I think
maybe a little plot.
Plot?
Ooh, amen.
Yep. A little plot.
Tease, just tell me what's going on. What's
Lex
the angle?
doing?
What's Legs up to? Yeah.
Just a little
Just
sample.
a little sample. Actually, I want to see some action too. I know we saw like 2 seconds of action here and there. I want to see some fighting. I want to see Superman's heat vision. Did we see his heat vision?
No, I don't think so.
Dude, I think I'm excited for this, guys. Any final thoughts? James Gunn, he's doing it despite what anybody thinks. He's going for it. That's all we can ask, I guess, right? Any final thoughts, guys? Wrap this up. Please, Beast Boy.
Yeah, I think Beast Boy should be played by Timmy Chalamet.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That would actually be really good. He would bring some nuance to the character. Guys, any comments we missed, Wade? Before we get out of here, we need Poison Ivy. I agree with that. We need a good Poison Ivy. Uma Thurman was our last one.
Wait, here's the one.
I'd like to see Professor Pig live action. That would be a horror movie, Sam.
A serial killer.
Jeez Louise, he's so spooky, dude.
Or what's
in the
or
Arkham
Mad
games,
Hatter?
I had to play his side missions in Arkham Knight with the lights on because I was scared playing it when I first.
That's hilarious.
I think it would be like the Batman 2 villain.
Which one?
The Batman 2 villain. I think Professor.
I would like that too. I would like it as like it's the beginning of the movie. You know what I mean? Because the beginning was with the Riddler. That was so leery with him in the house. I want something just like that at the beginning. But it'd be fun. It'd be fun if it was like a side plot just at the beginning. It's just like something Batman's doing right at the beginning. I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Any other comments, Wade? Before we wrap this up, guys.
No more comments.
We did it. That was a lot of information, guys. Great job. Round of applause.
Thanks for being on. Our number 1 and number 2 commenters.
Yep. These guys are always commenting on every. It's so good, guys. You keep the conversation going.
We appreciate it.
The goat.
Well,
Jake, any final thoughts? John, our side hosts. You guys are the OGs. Is it nice to be back?
Trains.
The four.
It is. It is. 4 of us talking about a comic book movie. I mean.
Yeah. What is it? 2022.
What's better than that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Let's see what happens. Train's leaving the station. I think we're all on it, but we'll see.
Superman's going to be the thing that kicks it off. Either for the good or for the bad.
Yeah. So. They got to pull it off. All right, boys. Thank you for being on, guys. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. And also, we love you, and you are what we truly, truly want.
The Webbinar
Remember,
seminar.
Are we
The
still
huge
live?
like kind.
Are we still live?
Here we go. Hey, we are on. Look.
Ah!